I love books that actually traumatize me. I love books that make me feel everything. Sometimes I really read a book and I want to throw my Kindle at the wall because they're frustrating me.
Yeah.
But the emotions are so strong that I'm enjoying it. And that's how I was writing this duet.
Welcome to Raising Baby Authors. I'm Kasia, your host, and a brand new writer. If you feel overwhelmed and lost about this whole writing thing, you're certainly not alone. Join me while I pester my author guests for writing advice and find out how they do it. Because if they could, then why not you? It truly takes a village to raise an author, so let me share my village with you.
Hello, dear listener. Welcome back to the classroom. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention in the second season of the Raising Baby Authors podcast. And my guest today is a fellow European author, sports romance author, Anastasija White. Anastasija is an indie author who spends her days creating swoon-worthy and steamy stories that will make your heart race. Her writing is filled with flawed and relatable characters that you'll find yourself rooting for. Whether you're in the mood for angsty drama or steamy romance, her stories take you on a roller coaster ride of emotions with guaranteed happy endings. When she's not writing, she loves to lose herself in reading books, rewatching her favorite TV shows, and spending time with her son. She loves traveling and exploring the world, and then including places she visited in her novels. Welcome, Anastasija. Hi.
Hi. It's very nice to be here with you today.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to have me. When I messaged you on Instagram, I was like, well, there's no way she's going to have time to do the podcast. That is so nice. Oh, well, I did call you a sports romance author, but I don't think you identify yourself as a sports romance author, at least on Amazon. Was I wrong? Do you have a non-sports romance books?
Not yet, I would say not yet. Because like most of my novels are exactly sports romances. So yeah, for now, yeah.
So you do have ideas that are not okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, regarding that, I do have one of your fans asking you a question because I left like a little story on Instagram, just if somebody wants to pass on a question. I don't know if you might know her. Her name is Marian. Her handle is marianbooks.613, and she told me she's a huge fan. And she asked me, I think, 2 questions that she really wanted to know is, do you have a plan, or what's the plan for the second book in the Hail series? Because she's waiting for it.
Actually, it's exactly what I'm currently writing because like Hail was released in the beginning of the last year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was released in December 2024, and Hate, the second book, will be released only like in 2026 because I delayed so much, and I've been struggling with this book. Like I've never struggled more with the book than I'm struggling with this one.
Oh, wow. Okay, but you are working on it, so yeah, your fans will get what they are waiting for. Yeah, and she's also asking if you plan to make another whole new series about hockey.
Yes, definitely. But like, I think for now, the plan is to do a second gen series where most of the guys will be hockey players, but some of them won't be. So like, it will be more like sports second gen series. Yeah.
Oh, so second gen, meaning that there will be like children of the people. Okay, I love those. That's so fun to read when you get like this feeling that you're home with all your favorite guys and girls. Yeah, amazing.
Plus, I love connecting all of my stories. So, like everything that I've published so far, it's like all in the same world. So they're all connected. And for the second gen, the couples will be like very mixed from different books. And like, I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
So like maybe like a daughter from one series and a son from completely, wow. Okay. We can get like rivals or a Romeo and Juliet kind of situation as well. Wow. This sounds amazing. I do have another hockey romance author, Kate Anastasija. She's been twice already on the podcast. She also writes all her books connected, like in one connected world. She told me she has a giant spreadsheet with all her world and all the details so that she doesn't confuse it. Do you have something like that?
No, I'm not that organized at all. Sometimes I'm like, okay, for example, Hate, that the book that I'm currently writing, like the characters were introduced in Hail. So sometimes I was like, wait, how does she look like? And I'm going to my book to see because like I don't remember and I don't have anything that organized because no, I'm chaos. I'm chaos.
I think I would mostly be so scared that I would confuse, maybe not even like the small details like the appearance and whatever, but like timelines or something, because people be like, this happened now, didn't like something else happen before that like made it impossible. Like this is my biggest fear of doing that.
Yeah. I was writing my second chance romance. Oh my God. And I had a timeline because I was confusing myself with everything. And I was like, no, this time I really need timeline. So I was like writing down, and I was also checking my other books because all the timelines were crisscrossing each other. So it was like, yeah, this time it was something that I needed to do, but in most cases, no.
Yeah, the bigger it gets and
Yeah.
the more confusing. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was so much fun answering questions from a fan. And now let's go like to like general basic questions that I ask. Mostly the first thing to know is how you started, like how you started writing and where you got the idea and everything else.
Like when I was growing up and where I'm growing up, like I used to watch like Brazilian soap operas with my grandma.
Oh yeah.
It was my go-to. And
Why is it always with the grandma?
I don't know. But she loved it. And whenever there was something new, we were watching. And I started writing fanfics because I wanted to see the stories way beyond what I've seen on the TV. So it was something that I started, but at some point I really like kind of ditched all of that. And I was like, okay, no, I'm not writing anything. And I think when I really went into writing more seriously, when I started playing games, like choices, chapters, the ones
Ah,
where
yeah.
you read and select your answer.
Yeah.
And with chapters, I realized that they were based on actual stories. And I was like, I need to check them. I started checking them and I was like, I really want to start writing myself. So, yeah, that's how I actually found myself in writing.
Hey, and then but there was there some period of time where you were just writing and not planning to publish anything?
No, it was only when I was like a teenager when I was writing these fanfics because it was mostly like writing in my desk because I wrote it and I like put it aside and no one else can see it.
But
So yeah.
then when you really started being serious, you're like, okay, I'm gonna publish it. I'm gonna make people see it.
Considering that I'm not native speaker and when I only started writing, I don't think that my vocabulary was enough to actually write a good book. So at first I was like, I need to try my hand and to see how it goes. And that's how I found two platforms, Inkit and Wattpad, where I started posting my stories chapter by chapter. And somehow they started getting traction. Obviously, it wasn't anything big, but still, I saw people reading my books. They were leaving comments, they were engaging. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm on it. Maybe I'm doing something that I might be good at. So that's how it started. But I really think that these platforms gave me a lot because I was able to kind of test my stories to see what people like, what they don't like, how they react to certain events, plots, ideas. So yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, I've never tried. I was thinking actually that maybe I should try Wattpad because I was really on the fence about publishing or anything like that. But then I realized, okay, if I want to put it out for free, I might as well just publish it on KDP then. And I mean, and see like that. But I think it's like it gives you sort of like your first beta readers, and you get very good feedback.
At the same time, the more I'm publishing right now on Amazon, I see how different readers are. What works well on Wattpad might absolutely not work on Amazon. So it's
Hmm.
like very, very different readers at this point. Like
Really? Do you have an idea why is that? Like it's interesting.
probably the audience, because the people who buy books, they are obviously older. And on Wattpad, like you can create your account, I think from 12. I might be wrong
Okay.
because I'm not exactly sure, but like the audience is way younger than the one on Amazon.
Okay. Yeah, I think like the Kindle Unlimited space is a lot. It is a place where a lot of Wattpad writers went to, like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
monetize their stories. So yeah, okay, yeah, I can understand. Like if first of all they're older, second they paid for the book, so they have like
yeah.
higher expectations for it.
Yes, 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 exactly, exactly.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's talk a little about like the writing itself. How did you choose your genre, like the sports romance?
It will be funny because, before I started playing games, the ones I mentioned, I never read romance at all. I was reading thrillers, I was reading detectives, I was reading fantasy, but I was avoiding romance genre altogether.
Yeah.
It wasn't working for me. But when I discovered these books, I was like, well, they are kind of nice. Like, I love to see how the story changes people, how they find each other. And I was like, maybe I'll start reading romance also. And my very first book that I tried to write was actually Billionaire Romance. And then after that, I don't know why, because at the point where I was writing this book, I never even watched American football game at all. But my second book was exactly college and American football. And if I think it kind of started the whole thing with writing sports romance.
Interesting. How did you handle the research part? Like,
Uh,
if I, for example, have no idea about football or hockey or any of those, I don't even know how to start a book like that.
it was like kind of like right now, it was kind of embarrassing because in most cases, I just like I didn't include anything game related. It was just like, he's a player and that's all. Because especially as I was publishing the first time, I was trying different things. So I was like, okay, let's make them athletes and we will see how it will go. But when it comes to publishing, obviously I do research. I watch games like with hockey and football, soccer is easier because I love watching these games and it's like my favorite. Football, especially. Hockey comes second. But with American football, my duet that I recently released was American football. So it took a lot of research for me. And I started actually watching games because, like, before that, like, no, I never watched it. I never watched
Okay.
it.
So basically, I think there's no chance for me at all because I don't like watching football. I'm okay with hockey, but not on TV. I enjoy, like, if I go and actually watch it, it's interesting. On TV, there's just no. And so, yeah, I think, well, there's not going to be a sports romance in my career. So, okay, fine. I'm good with it. But yeah, I mean, I admire anybody who writes sports romance because yeah, the research would drive me crazy, I think.
There are different types of books. Obviously, there are books that go into the detail and you clearly see that the people who are writing it, they know what they're talking about, that they did very extensive research, or maybe they had experience themselves playing, or maybe their husbands, wives, someone from the family helps them with that. Sometimes there is very like light things from sport, whatever works for you as an author.
Yeah, and actually I think I saw just recently someone saying that they like sports romance as a genre and they really don't care
Yeah.
if there is any details about the sport. But then what exactly is so appealing if you don't care about the sport? It's maybe like the heroes are I don't know, they have the goals and very specific aspirations and they're driven and whatever. Well, I mean all the exercising is not hurting. All right. Um, so if we talk about writing itself, so like the first draft that you do, how long does it take you to write a first draft? What is your process for the first draft?
I think the most important thing how in the mood I am for writing. Because when I am in the mood and the story is flowing, I can easily write a book like around 90K words in a month.
Oh,
But sometimes it's just such a struggle. So sometimes it feels like I'm pulling my own teeth with writing because nothing works and I hate what I'm writing. So it all depends on how involved I am and my mood, because at some point I realized that I'm very influenced by how I feel. And if something isn't working for me, I will find 1,000 things to do instead of sitting down and actually writing.
yeah, that's the case. Well, I mean, do you allow your first draft in that case or in any other, like just to be bad, to like skip words or whatever?
No,
Just no.
no, no.
Ah, okay. So you like it to be clean.
Not 100%, but yeah, I'm trying to make it as clean as possible. That's why, for example, I have 5 chapters. I go back, I reread them, and I start changing things, and then I move forward. Because, like, if I keep going after every chapter, I will never finish them. But I allow myself to go back after certain bunches of chapters when I go read through what I wrote and start moving things, removing things, like adding things. That's how it works for me.
Okay. And actually, this is not an uncommon thing. Like, the general advice that they give you is never go back and just keep writing and keep whatever you don't know just to feel it later. And that works for a lot of people, but you're not the first and not the second author that has been on my podcast that tells me that they go and edit as they
Yeah.
write. And that works for them. So they just tell you that, okay, maybe you will never finish if you get stuck in this cycle, but for a lot of people it actually does work.
You know, when I was writing my very first book, I was going back after every chapter.
Mm.
And at some point, I realized that I'm not moving forward at all because I was constantly thinking about the things I can change, I should change, and it was a never ending circle. So I started moving forward and I started going back after certain chapters to just check if I'm still vibing with the story or I went absolutely off the course and everything is just a mess. So, yeah.
Yeah, it does work. I think it's just to escape the situation that a lot of people end up in, is that they, like, when you query the agents, they tell you to send the first 3-5 chapters, so people get stuck in the first 3 chapters and never actually go anywhere further. So we already established that you're not someone who's going to have a spreadsheet for all of the, but do you plot?
No.
You also don't plot.
I'm a pantser. When I start writing, I know how it starts and I know how it ends.
Okay.
Sometimes I have certain things or scenes that I want to include. That's how I'm writing most of the time. But if I get too deep into the story and like the writing is flowing, I can start plotting chapters ahead. I might go from chapter 5 to chapter 10. I will just leave a few sentences to know what should I write there. But in most cases, it's like, no, whatever my characters are telling me, I'm telling them. Putting this into work. Yeah.
Okay, that is super fascinating to me because I am so not like that. Like, I I don't need it to be super detailed, but I tried actually. Like the last project that I did, I promised myself that I will not outline it like crazy. I'm just gonna go in and start writing. And still, I needed at least to know what's happening in the chapter. Otherwise, I'm just looking at an empty page and going, "What is happening?" Like, I don't know what to write. But then when I just plot like 1, 2, 3 chapters in front of me, that's okay. I don't know what happens after, that's fine. But then I still need just a little bit. I don't think I could totally pants anything. Maybe I should really make it a hard constraint and try to do it once. Maybe something genius or complete garbage will come out. You never know.
You never know. You need to try. That's why I say, like, you always need to try something new and to see how it goes. Maybe it will work for you better. Who knows?
Maybe. So then, okay. So in the beginning, you were writing for Wattpad, and then so whatever you wrote, your draft, that would go on Wattpad. But when you decided to actually publish, then there's like more work that goes into a book. So how do you handle like editing, and what kind of edits do you do?
If we're going back to my debut, I had beta readers
Mm-hmm.
who helped me because they read my book and give me some advice on what I should leave, what I should keep in the book, what I should change. I rewrote it several times because, like Sinbin, it was my debut and it was a book on Wattpad. And I started changing things, obviously, because I knew by then that some things won't work for Amazon readers, that I need to remove it. And that's why I had a feedback from my beta readers. They all were author friends who I've been like speaking all the time. And after that, the book went to copy editor. And like she's like, Caroline is awesome. And she's working between like copy and line,
Mm-hmm.
something like between, but mostly she's focusing on copy. So like my first books were just copy edited and I also had beta readers, but that was all.
Mm-hmm.
Rules, like my recent book is not like that at all. Like it
So
went,
what got added into the process?
I think Rules, it's my very first book that I think had like 4 or 5 drafts, both books, because I had several beta readers on different stages. Then I had development editor. And I honestly don't know if I would have been able to actually pull it off without my dev editor, because Mel was phenomenal and she took her time to explain everything to me. We had a call, we talked, because the second book wasn't working at all. The second part of the second book was, she was like, I can't read it. So we had a very long conversation on what I should change. I rewrote it. And even then, after her feedback on the second part, I was still rewriting it. Rules went through a lot of feedback from beta readers. Then it was development editor. Then there was line editor. Then there was copy editor. And then there was proofreader. So 5 stages. And I'm super proud of these books because they are not only they are different in the genre because I'm diving deeper, more emotional, but also they went through so many stages of editing that I'm actually very, very proud of these books.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. It sounds like a lot of work. A lot of people do either one or the other, either beta readers or a developmental editor. Why did you think that you needed both?
I think it was because of the duet, because it deals with very hard topics.
Mhm.
Because there is like mental abuse, physical abuse, like parental neglect, like physical assault. There's so many things that I really needed to work through. And I needed to see how to make it work. So it will read good, that you will
Mhm.
feel for these characters, because with how it was written, like I expect people would have hated my main characters. They would have hated my FMC in book 1 and they would have hated my MMC in book 2. It would have been like guaranteed. But with all the changes, obviously I still have readers who hated them both. But this time I'm very proud of this book. And like I felt that I needed exactly development editor because the first book was not so good, honestly. But I was super proud of the first part of the second book. So I needed book 1 to become something like that as the first part of book 2.
Mhm.
And the second part of book 2 needed to become something like the first part of this book. Because like I knew that this one was working, but I needed to make everything working. And beta readers, they were amazing, but I needed deeper feedback on this duet. Like really, really deeper feedback.
And it was a duet from the very beginning? Like
Yes.
you planned
Yes.
it as this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was like firstly published on Wattpad, and it was always the duet because I knew that like if I wanted to do this story justice, I needed to make it a duet.
All right. So I don't know how to ask this because it's probably hard to remember. The thing is, a lot of people I think have a similar issue that you had. Like you think that you want to express something, and then you think that the way you expressed it now, the readers will hate it, but you don't know how to change it. Do you remember what things you had to change about your FMC or the MMC in the second book? Like what did you have to add to make it better?
I think for the FMC, like she's a very complex character. Like I understand people who say that she is weak and so on, but at the same time, like she goes through so much trauma in her life that I think people who never were in abusive relationship, they will never understand it. And it's hard
Mhm.
for them to understand it because when you see that something is really bad and you're like, why don't you leave? You
Yeah.
see that he's a bad guy and you need to leave. But when you are in abusive relationship, when you are made to feel small, it's not that easy. And what was the main issue with my FMC in my book 1? Because we only saw her weak.
Mhm.
But with how it was rewritten based on the feedback that I got from my deaf editor, she became stronger. We saw that she's a strong girl, but like the obstacles were like, why she was acting certain way. But we saw that she has this strong side. We saw that. And I think it made it way easier to connect, because sometimes people never experience something, but they still are able to connect with the character. But I think with how she was written at first, it was really hard for some people, especially who never went through something like that. It was really hard for them to sympathize with her even
Mhm.
because like they saw her as weak. And especially as PMCs are always getting so much hate. It's never an issue with MMC. MMC might be like total tool, but we will forgive him. But when it's a FMC, like one wrong step and we are hating on her. And this is like, terrible, honestly.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah, I needed to make her stronger so people will see that she actually is a strong girl. But, and when it comes to MMC, I think I made a mistake because I love books that actually traumatize me. I love books that make me feel everything. Sometimes I really read a book and I want to throw my Kindle at the wall because they're frustrating me.
Yeah.
But the emotions are so strong that I'm enjoying it. And that's how I was writing this duet. And I really don't mind cheating in my books. I don't mind other women drama, other men drama. Like everything works for me.
Drama is good. Yeah.
So like, I labeled what happens in the second book in the duet as other women drama, but I had readers who are very unhappy with it because they say it's emotional cheating. So I added it obviously because I'm listening to and like if people are saying that were triggered by things that were written and they didn't see a certain trigger warning, okay, I'm adding it. But in the very first version of this book, emotional cheating went for so long that people really would have hated him and they would have never forgiven him for what he did, no matter how much they liked him in book one. So like I got absolutely brilliant advice from my dev editor and from my author friend because they were reading at the same time. And right now, the way he is written, like I love him, and I can forgive everything that he did. For me, he groveled enough.
Okay. Well, I see. I see that there are two kind of distinct, different cases. So in
Yeah.
one case, you had to fix like a plot thing with the MMC,
Yeah.
just stop it somewhere
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
And then in case with the FMC, yeah, I think sometimes you think that you're writing a character as a three-dimensional, but somehow you're showing more of one thing. So you
Yeah.
needed to show another side of her that people could relate to. Yeah, I think that would be very useful for someone who's writing currently, because it's hard sometimes to see from the side. That the point is have beta readers, have a dev editor, both or separately,
Yeah.
and at least just have someone else's eyes on your
Yeah,
work.
because I think that we are very biased when it comes to our own work. And sometimes we don't see things from different perspective. I had a friend of mine who was reading this duet and she was like, it's not working. It's not working how you think it's working. And I was like, at first, no. But then I sat down and I realized that she was completely right because I didn't see it. Like, no matter how many times I rewrote this book, no matter how many times I reread it, I didn't see it unless she pointed out it for me.
Wow. Okay. Well, the perseverance that takes, it's changing so many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, well, I see you're doing very well with this release now. It just like the second book just came out like super recently, right?
Yeah, it was on July.
Well, yeah, I see you have lots of people leaving reviews and getting the paperbacks, and I guess you have special editions as well, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a this is how many books after your debut?
Oh my God.
Let's count.
Four,
Let's do
five.
math.
It was 7. It was book number 7, but I think in overall it was book 14 that I've written, like in overall.
Okay, so well, I mean, from the start of publishing on
7. It was
Amazon,
book number
this is
7.
book number 7. Wow, I mean, it's a big journey, amazing. And for I think I didn't ask you, like, when did your debut came out?
Oh my God. It was April 20.
So you're telling me that in what 2 years you have published 7 books? Whoa! All right, and you have a job, and you have a son. That just puts me to shame.
First of all, Sinbin, Hale, and Rules, they were written before. And I
Alrighty,
was
so.
just rewriting them. I wrote 3 books from scratch during this time, but Sinbin, Hale, and Rules were written before and they were just edited and rewritten. Oh my God.
Well, that's amazing. You see, you have fans that are waiting for the second book in the Hale series as well and really excited about it. Wow. Do you have any other ideas that you've written before that you still haven't turned into a published book?
No.
That's
like
it here. Now you have to write new ones.
my next book will be out in fall, and basically on Wattpad it was 4 books about one couple, but I know that it's not going to work for Amazon readers. And unfortunately, it wasn't working for me either because I realized that I grew up so much and I don't want to put it this way as it was written before. So I sat down and completely rewrote it. Like I used the characters, I used a few things from the original books, but it's a completely rewritten story. And I'm super excited about it because it's Stepbrother and it's another angsty read that I actually love so much.
Oh yeah, angsty is just I generally love angsty, and recently it's just like I have to have angst in my books. Otherwise I just don't like it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So we talked about writing, we talked about editing. Let's then cover publishing a little bit. Since you're not publishing from the US, is there like any challenges particularly that you have to face when publishing in Europe?
Honestly, no. The only like trouble I came up recently, it was like ordering proof copies, but the
Mhm.
rest was super easy and it was easy to set up the account. It was easy to start publishing. Like I really never had an issue with Amazon. Like once I had an issue when they sent me an email saying that my book was selling on Apple Books because someone pirated it, put it
And
there.
try to sell it as well. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Audacity, my God.
But Amazon gave me time to remove it. So I sent an email to Apple Books and they removed it and Amazon was enough. Like for them, it was enough. But it was the
Okay.
only issue I had with them. It was the only one.
Yeah, I know that they crack down on pirating and punish the authors instead of people who are pirating because they will never find them. So yeah, that's fun.
No, it was actually funny because it was my debut and someone like told me like it's probably ARC readers, but no, it was Amazon copy. What was selling Amazon copy? Because ARC, after I sent out ARCs, I was still changing things and I knew what to look at. So
Hmm.
when I went to check this pirated copy, I was like, okay, yeah, this is Amazon copy. It wasn't something that someone downloaded who got an ARC from me. No, it was
Well,
an
yeah, I
Amazon.
mean, people who are technically savvy, they can get a copy off of Amazon if they want to.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
not for everybody, but if you really know how, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. But then, so you publish with Amazon everything, paperbacks and the. All
Yeah.
right. Have you ever tried like Ingram Spark or something else?
I tried Ingram Spark. I started creating my account and they kind of pissed me off with because they weren't accepting my card. I have two banks that I have accounts and they weren't accepting the one that I wanted to use. And I was like, okay, I don't want to work with you. Maybe it's my loss, but I was so frustrated with it. So I was like, okay, no, it's not working for me,
I
unfortunately.
think the only difference, like if you don't do hardcovers and stuff like that, the only difference is that they pay a little more when you do like wide distribution. They pay a bit more, but I've heard a lot of people complaining about it, like really a lot.
You know, I had like I saw, I think on threads, authors talking about how much they owe money to Ingram Spark because
Oh
of all.
yeah, because of the returns.
Yeah, and it's definitely not on my bingo card. So like I'm avoiding Ingram Spark.
Yeah, I know. You can choose the no return option, but then nobody will order it because they don't want to just carry it without the opportunity to return. Well, okay, so that solidifies it for me, I think, at least like in anybody who's writing in Europe and or even not just in Europe and considering like publishing options. I think KDP, even though they own your ass and like if something happens, they can completely close your account and you will not be able to do anything with it. It's
Yep.
still the best option out there.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so that'll be it, I guess. And well, okay, so there's no issues publishing in Europe, but are there any challenges with finding readers, marketing, and stuff like that, the audience?
You know, based on my KDP dashboard, I see that most of my readers are from the US.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, my stories are all based in the US. So my biggest challenge was TikTok and
Right,
marketing.
because it's not gonna show your
Yes.
stuff to the US. Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes. But at some point, I figured out like a workaround because I bought eSIM card
Mm-hmm.
and with American number, I created a new account and with VPN on a new phone, I was posting and it was going to American audience. Right now, I'm working with an amazing girl who is helping me because she's in America and she's posting instead of me. But it took time for me to have enough money to hire someone. But it was a lifesaver because in other circumstances, it's a lottery if my video from my own personal profile that I have for my author things, if it goes to Americans. Most cases, it's just Europe. And no.
Yeah, I would. So TikTok is your like primary platform where you advertise.
I noticed with Instagram, if it's like beautiful art, for example, it might attract new readers. But if it's, like, for example, viral reel, like for me, it never works. I don't know about other authors, but I had a few reels, like I think a year ago, that were blowing up. Not millions of views, but like I think the most I had 600 views, and I never saw anything in sales. Never.
Mm-hmm.
But when something like that happens on TikTok, yeah, I see in sales. I see
Okay.
like numbers. And from what I've seen, other authors, they are all mentioning the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I think it more or less kind of a consensus that you do stuff on TikTok and you just learn through trial and error what works there, and then you just keep doing that. I didn't know you need a SIM card actually. I thought I have VPN on my phone. I thought I could just turn it on and that will work.
Recently it started working because like, I have this American-based account that I created with American SIM card, and I have account that I created back in my home country. And whenever I turn on, if I don't forget, VPN, and then I check the statistics, I see that it mostly goes to the US.
So okay. So you start with a SIM card and then okay, I might need to do that as well. Because now I don't actually know where my videos are going to. The TikTok account is currently just for podcast videos, and I see that specific American people that I know are liking it, but I'm not sure it's like going wide that much.
You can check it in statistics in most cases, like, you can see the
Probably.
audience.
I'm such a total newbie user of TikTok. I'm just like, post and run. I really don't really even look at my views anymore. But yeah, I mean, of course, when the release is there, I'm gonna have to be more strategic and more careful about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, definitely. Because selling on TikTok is actually possible, and finding new audience, people who will love your books, who will connect with your writing, TikTok is a platform, from what I
Yeah.
see.
So seventh book then, and we know the theory that like the authors don't very rarely become famous and have the breakthrough from the first book, and usually it happens around like 7, 8, 9, and then further. So do you feel like the last duet was your breakthrough, or was it like your best book so far?
I will say that it's my favorite book. It's my favorite couple. I think I'm happy with how overall the release of both books turned out, but I can say that it was a success or it was a breakout or anything like that. No. Maybe like, it will find their readers, and like I will see like this success. No, no.
Well, it definitely found a lot of people. I have no idea how I found you, but when I found you, I thought you were quite famous. Like I looked at all the people reading your books, and like they all ended up somehow in my feed as well. And I'm like, wow, there's so many books by this one author. So I was like, okay, she must be quite famous. And I see you already kind of branching out into hiring some people to help you do some marketing work. So that's
Yeah.
already like quite a sign of success.
Sometimes you write a book and you're like, oh my God, this will be it. And I thought about one of my books this way. And for me personally, it wasn't anything bad, but for me personally, it was a flop. And I also allowed another person's opinion about my books influence me so much that I hated this book. I
Oh.
hated my own work for almost a year because it made me feel as if like, I wrote something like, absolutely tasteless and soulless. And it was a struggle even promote it because like I felt that it wasn't a good book and why should I promote it? And yeah, it was really bad in this matter. But
Yeah.
I thought about this book that it will be it.
Yeah, it's usually not the ones that we think about. Yeah, it's often something that an author thinks is just, I don't know, a guilty pleasure or for fun and like just out this silly thing and then it ends up being a bestseller or something.
I just like with rules to it, like it's my personal favorite. So obviously I wanted like it to be the best of the best. But considering my past experience, I was like, I'm just proud of these books and I want them to find their readers. That was all. Like, no, I didn't have any goals. And I think by book 6, I finally learned how to dissociate because I wasn't even nervous when I sent arcs, when I published. I was like, okay, I released a book. Yay.
Well, yeah, it's a good skill to have. I mean, it probably helps that you have a system by now. So you have you have your art team, you know what to do when you're
Yeah.
publishing, you know the dates, you don't freak out about deadlines anymore. Well, probably do, but like
No,
a bit. No, not anymore. That's not. That must be nice. You should teach a course on.
I found my zen, my zen, and I'm just like, okay, I'm cool.
Well, in that case, let's talk about goals a little bit. So, like, do you want to actually eventually just leave your job and become a full-time author?
There are several factors why not. First of all, because I love my job. But second of all, which is more important, my residence permit depends on my job. Like, there is no way. So, like, I'm happy that I love my job.
Yeah.
But I'm finding time to managing the whole author thing with my full-time job. Also with my son, managing him when he's here. So yeah, I think I made it work for me at least.
Yeah. So, and actually about that, do you have like a defined process? Do you write every day at specific times, or it's just like
In most cases, it just depends if I'm in the mood for writing.
right?
Because after I finished my stepbrother romance, I was still working on several other books that I needed to edit and so on, prepare it for release, that I found myself not writing for 2 months. Or more, I was writing, but I wasn't happy with what I've written. At this point, Hate, the second book about Hale brothers, it's my third draft. And this time it's a completely different story because what I was writing before wasn't working for me at all. Like, it came to the point that I didn't even believe in what I was writing, you know?
Hmm.
I didn't believe that the romance is possible between these two people. And when I scratched the first draft and went into the second, I was like, yeah, it's working now. Like, I figured it out. No, I didn't. I didn't. And I think it became even worse because I was like, what am I writing? I don't believe in their happy ending. It's not working. And I finally found the idea that is working for me and I'm enjoying it. But I also had a call with my dev editor where we talked about this whole thing because I was stressed and on the verge of giving up and saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow. Well, sounds like finding a good dev editor is really, really helping you. Like you're
Yeah.
not letting this person go anytime soon.
No, like, I think the most important thing also in the whole process of dev editing or any editing is your ability to listen to what people are saying. Because sometimes, like, honestly, it feels like everyone just wants to say, yes, everything is working, everything is fine. And like, I had these experiences, like, when I've been told that everything is fine. And then I saw reviews saying that something wasn't working. And I was like, why no one said anything to me on this stage when you were better reading for me? But
Yeah, I would say I do want to have beta readers and I will find some, but I think I'm going to have to be careful because it seems that the trend recently is to find more like cheerleaders than beta readers. Like when people are posting beta reader feedback, and I'm guessing it's part positive and part critique as well. But like if someone would just say praises and not give me any critique, I'd be like, maybe I don't want you to be my beta reader.
I think it's just all depends on the author and how they are dealing with the feedback and also how this feedback is given. Because I had experience with Rules Do It Again when it was going through beta reading stage. I was getting comments and they were not really bad, but at the same time, I felt that this person didn't like the story.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, it's not working for me because it came to the point that I wasn't even willing to listen to what they had to say because I made an opinion that they hated my book and why should I listen to someone who hates it? But when I got the feedback about the second book that wasn't working for my dev editor, it was done with such grace and she was super respectful. She explained everything to me and she helped me to work to work it out. And she told me that I'm very good with receiving the feedback and with changing things because I'm really listening. And how my friend always says, I'm not married to anything when she's on the stages of editing and writing, because you always can change things based on the feedback, especially if you know that people have their best, like your best interest when they suggest something. Yeah.
Especially if, okay, even if you like one part like so much and other people don't feel the same way, but they offer you or you yourself come up with something and suddenly it clicks like, wow, this will be so much better. And then, yeah, why not to make a change? If you're really resisting and think that this is the best thing that can be, okay, well, that's your book. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I really think that it all depends on what the author is looking for. Because I know people who prefer just cheerleaders who will be rooting for you and rallying for you. But even if they will say something, there is a chance that you won't listen because it's not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for someone who will point out at things that isn't working, and I'm always willing to change things.
Yeah, that's the attitude that you should have when you're doing beta readers. Otherwise, what's the point? That reminded me of, I don't know why, of the posts on Facebook that I read today. There is like a group, romance writers something something. There's like tens of them. So one of those groups that I'm in, someone posted that they are writing a romance, a dark romance, and that one of the MCs dies at the end of the book. And she was like, but I've been told that readers mostly will DNF the book or will not like it. And so I'm wondering, what's your opinion? And so the whole 100 something comments kept telling her, that's not a romance. Please don't advertise it as romance. And to every comment, she's been like, but why? Who said that romance has to have an HEA? And eventually people were like, okay, this woman doesn't want to learn. She just wanted comments and to troll people a little bit. And so admins just closed all the comments because this is useless. She's not listening. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think in this discourse, I see everyone is bringing up always Romeo and Juliet, but I'm sorry, it's a tragedy.
It's not romance. Not at all. I mean, you're free to call something a love story. If I see a love story, I'm right away like, they're gonna die or like something's gonna happen. It's not gonna be fun at the end. But at least I know. At least I don't go into it thinking that it's gonna end well. So, and it's not a spoiler. It's just like,
yes, because there might be happily ever after or happy for now, but they should be alive.
Actually, about the alive part, I had one comment today. Well, I wrote a comment today about the book. I just realized today that I've read a book when there was an HAA in the afterlife. I didn't even notice until I started thinking about it. The whole book it's a twist at the end that you realize that you're not in the real world. You're actually in the FMC's mind. Yeah, maybe there's many of them because I'm not sure it's that famous, but it's it's been like a 10-year anniversary of this book. And so I read an arc. And at the end, it's her head and she's dead and she's deciding whether to be dead or alive. And she stays dead because the guy is there and the life is there. And then, is that an HAA actually? I think for me it is because I accepted it as an HAA. I did think at the end, but they're not alive. And still, I loved it. I rated it 5 stars. I still enjoyed it. But that's the only case where So you read it as well?
No. I didn't read it, but I saw lots of reviews on this book and on this subject. And I was like, no, I'm not going to read it. Mm-mm.
It's super worked for me. I don't know. Just because I think the whole plot basically happened in the afterlife. So I didn't notice that something changed much. We were maybe one chapter was in the real world and the rest of it was just in her dreams. And so I was like, fine. All right. The story was fun and the ending is grim, but still they're happy together. So that's good.
I think the only thing that comes to mind is the Christmas movie that I watched on Netflix.
Yeah, there was something like that.
Yes.
Last Christmas, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I mostly watched oh my God, I forgot her name. Emily
Clark.
Yes,
I think.
Emily Clark.
Yeah.
I watched it for her, and throughout the movie, I was like, I know where it is.
Yeah.
But it was so good that I accepted this ending also. But yeah, I think around the middle, it was funny because I was actually on the bus to home country. I was at the border and I was watching it and I was basically crying.
Nice. Well, I had the same experience, not the same, completely opposite experience. While also at the border, I was reading an arc of like a first introduction to an author. She was so funny, I kept giggling. Just the whole bus is like, "What's going on?" And I'm just like, because it was, and since then it's my favorite author. I've met her last month. She's amazing, and she gave me just so much joy while I was pissed off because I was standing for 6 hours in border. Yeah, you need entertainment in these situations.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, okay, so I think from what I've still got to ask you are a couple of things.
Mhm.
You mentioned you got reviews here and there, so you do read your reviews.
Okay. Before a certain period of time, I was reading my reviews from time to time. But then I realized that it's very traumatizing.
Okay.
So I took a step back. But when it's an arc period, yeah, I go to Goodreads and I check the reviews. But I think that what helped me to actually accept what I'm reading is Mel Robbins' book, Let Them Theory, because it did wonders to my brain, like rewired it. And I'm like, I'm okay. If someone doesn't like my work, that's fine. Because I'm happy with it. And it's probably just not my readers who didn't like it. Because obviously I'm an author, so I'm not rating anything badly. But I also have DNFs. I also have books that I hate. Considering that these are my colleagues, I will never say anything about it. I will just like quietly put the book down and never mention that I even tried reading it. And sometimes, like, when I'm reading the book or I'm trying the book that isn't working for me, I might be very vocal, but I'm like, talking to myself, like, about all the things that I hate and I leave it here. But sometimes when readers are reading and they're hating on something, they want to express their opinions and they can do that, obviously. Whatever works for them. I just personally, even if I was an author, and when I wasn't publishing, I still never rated anything badly or wrote very mean or lengthy review on all the things that I hated, because if I hate something, I just want to forget that I even touch it. Goodbye. I'm not spending my time on writing about the things that I didn't like. Okay. Okay.
That's very
Well,
mature of you.
yeah.
It's like a breakup, a very calm and nice breakup. You don't rant
Yeah.
about it. Well, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also never rate anything badly. I think, yeah, I understand like that they are my colleagues, and I can write like I do these like finished reading kind of story. My stories are literally watched by 9 people maximum. Like there's not much audience there, and mostly there are people who know me. So I'm like I can say okay, I DNF'd, it didn't work for me, or like okay, this is not my thing, and I can say okay, if you want my rant or whatever, just like DM me or something. But I might even stop doing those because I'm not sure that's entirely nice.
No, I don't even add my books into currently reading stage unless I'm sure that I like it. And I don't leave my books unrated because, like, for me, it's a dead giveaway that I didn't like it. So in most cases, I don't even add them in any kind of reading list. Like, it never happened. We're moving on
Yeah,
from
and you
that.
cannot have a DNF shelf or anything like
No,
that because yeah,
no, no,
that's
no.
definitely. Yeah, there are some authors who like don't care. They're never like from what I know, like I love Alexis Hall so much, like all of his books, and he is quite wordy on Goodreads. He would never say he hated it. Like I haven't seen like hateful reviews, but when he has opinions, he was like gonna write a big review. But his reviews actually made me read a lot of books. Just pick them up, and they were amazing books. Like, okay, I don't mind.
Sometimes I'm reading a book and I'm loving it and I'm giving it 5 stars, but I don't really talk about them because,
Mm.
yeah, I loved it, but I added it to Goodreads. I posted that I read it and that's all. But if I like super moved by the story, if it made me feel like everything, I will be raving about it. In my stories, my newsletter, everywhere. And recently I had several books that made me feel so much. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to write also. Like, this kind of stories. Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
haven't felt that in a while. I really need a very, very, very good book somewhere.
If you didn't read Boys of Torment series, I can
Oh, I haven't yet. I know this is gonna break me, so I'm preparing for
yes,
a mood
yes,
for it.
yes,
And
yes.
also, This kind of books make me angry. I cannot. Like, I'll be constantly like, why is it not over yet? Come on.
I was listening and reading them at the same time. So I was listening when I was working because sometimes I'm just like, doing something that I don't really need to think a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just listening to the books and then I'm reading them. But I'm listening in 2 weeks, sometimes
Okay.
even like faster. So
That's
yeah.
fine too. I never tried. I feel like I'm not gonna like it, but I've never tried to do like 2x. Because I
I
like the voices. I like when they do expressions and stuff.
It's still good. Like I'm watching movies on the same speed.
What? That's the first I hear of that. Okay, interesting. I honestly don't have enough attention to watch on half the speed, and if it's 2x, I'm just not gonna be. I'll miss half the movie while I'm looking to my phone.
No, I love rewatching things, and I'm currently rewatching Vikings, and I'm just like watching it at 2x speed, and everything is great.
Love Vikings. That was a
Yeah.
good show.
I was like debating what I should rewatch, and I was actually thinking between Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy. Before that, I was thinking about maybe rewatching Peaky Blinders, but I ended up with Vikings.
I haven't seen Peaky Blinders, but my husband watched it, and it had very nice music. And I was like always coming up like, what's this? I know this song. I love this song. Why is it? Yeah, I think I need to watch it because I took a bit of inspiration for one of my characters from the appearance kind, the hat and the suspend, and like from the characters there. But I've never seen the show, so I probably need to watch.
Sons of Anarchy, Vikings, and Peaky Blinders are my husband's favorite TV show. He
Hmm.
absolutely loves them, but I was refusing to watch them all. Like I didn't want because usually we have very different taste in
Yeah.
movies and TV shows. So I was refusing to watch them, but I started with Peaky Blinders and I was like, wow.
No, that show's good. Yeah, I know.
I ended up loving all three and like he's like, you should have listened to me earlier.
What's the third one? Sons of Anarchy, Peaky
Sons of
Blinders.
Anarchy, Vikings, and Peaky Blinders.
Vikings. Yeah, Vikings. We started watching together actually, and we loved it both. And we watched then the other one, the Valhalla, as well. It's not as good, but it's all right. It's quite nice. Okay, so what do we have left? You already recommended one of the books that you loved, more like a mindset thing. So I'm definitely putting that recommendations. I've never heard it about it. Any other books that you use, like for craft or for anything else?
I have so many, but I didn't read them. Even if my friend always like, no, you need to read this. You need to read this. And like, yeah, maybe like, one day, especially the one that I recommended with the mindset, Let Them Theory has an audiobook where
Hmm.
she, as the author, is reading it and she's absolutely awesome.
Mm.
You are engaged in everything saying. And I like, it really rewired my brain because like I finally let go and said like, let them do whatever they want, say whatever they want. I'm not letting myself react to it. This is the like the negative way. I'm letting myself feel it through and just let go of it.
Nice.
It's an amazing book. She also has podcasts and she has TikToks and she's just brilliant.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That sounds interesting. I think I need something like that because my husband was born with this kind of theory. He's like, he doesn't care, whatever anybody thinks. And I'm always worried. So, yeah, I probably need to read something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Because it really helps. I think I didn't finish this book, but I was reading also, and it had this like passage that we think that other people think about us all the time, that they are judging how we look, what we wear. But the author was talking about the social experiment that was conducted in some college. So the whole auditorium was full of people. And different people were coming into this auditorium wearing some ridiculous things. And in most cases, they all thought that everyone will look at them and everyone will notice what they're wearing. But based on the research, I think around 10% of people actually noticed what other people were wearing because
Mm.
we are always so deep in our own heads that we are thinking that they are thinking about us, but they are actually thinking about themselves.
Yeah, yeah. We're selfish people. We're always thinking about ourselves. And it's, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. So the standard question that I ask is there like a best writing advice or worst writing advice, whatever you want that you've heard?
I think the best writing advice is just keep going, keep writing, because you never can change only if you have an empty page. Because everything else you can rewrite, you can add, you can edit. Just keep going, because I know a lot of people who are just stopping because something isn't working and they're just like, no, I don't want to do that. But you need to keep going, you need to keep writing, because there is always a chance to make it better after some edits, some feedback, and so on. So yeah, keep writing.
Yeah, I think as long as you like what you're doing, and even
Yeah,
if you don't like it every day, but you like the final goal,
yeah.
it's you should just not stop. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I wanted to ask you actually whether you have author heroes or like favorite authors that you like in romance or anywhere else.
My favorite authors are actually Chloe Walsh. I absolutely love Penelope Douglas.
Oh yeah.
I love Rebecca Yarros
Mm-hmm.
because the books that I read, not only of Fourth Wing, but her other romances are amazing. So I think these are like, top three that
Okay.
I like love, and I loved everything that I read from them. I might not be vibing with all stories, but the writing style, the storytelling is just like something that I love the most.
So they would be something that you would not try to imitate, but more like I want to write stories that captivate people like they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Penn Douglas is some sort of magician. Honestly, I don't understand how how they do it, like how she does it. I like Birthday Girl is one of her tamest stories because you love the guy from the beginning. He doesn't have many. I loved him so much. I loved him so much. I honestly could not stop reading it, and then I could not stop thinking about it. It just took me completely. But then I read Credence, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I don't like any of these guys. I don't think I want to meet them or be anything with them in real life. But why can I not stop reading? Like, what's happening?
Actually, Credence is my all-time favorite book. I love it. And Birthday Girl wasn't working for me at all.
No.
Like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But Credence is just like,
I think I am into like lighter stories, so that's probably why Birthday Girl worked for me so much because Pike is just the dream for me. I love him, but yeah, Credence, I knew that it's gonna be nuts, and it's just like I'm probably not gonna like it, and then I ended up reading the whole thing and like. Okay, all right. I mean, I loved it. I don't agree with everything there, but I still loved it. Like she writes in a way that you can't stop reading. This is
yeah.
amazing. Before I let you go, tell the listeners where they can find you, your handles, and where they can find your books as well.
My books available are only on Amazon for now. As for where to find me, it's actually Instagram and TikTok. I like usually just put them all in my books because it's like the whole thing, like Anastasia.
I'll put everything in the description so whenever whoever wants to find you, they'll have an opportunity. Okay, so Anastasia.white, I think, and then their author.
Yeah, and dot author. Yeah. 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 That's why, like I say, it's complicated. It's way too long,
All
actually.
right. Of course. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. It was so much fun talking to
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe after some time I can ask you for an update because we're gonna see you're gonna have 8, 9, 10 book. I wanna know about the progress. Good luck with everything and thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was really fun.
Okay, thanks. Well, bye.
Bye.
If you like what you hear so far, please consider subscribing and tune in for the next episode. If you have burning questions about writing you'd like to have answered, head to my Instagram page at kkalbabooks and leave me a message. Or use my email k.k.alba.books@gmail.com. If you'd like your favorite author to answer your question on my show, again, head to my Instagram or email me to let me know which author you'd like me to invite, and I'll try to get over my anxiety and do it. On the other hand, if you're an author who's published at least one book, traditional or indie, and you'd like to become a guest, well, you know what to do by now. Message me and let's get to know each other.